The X-Men franchise has always been one of the most politically charged additions to the world of comic books and film. And for the most part, they've reflected those politics in the subtext of the films. The good ones, anyway. I mean, the only subtext of Age of Apocalypse is even great directors can run out of ideas. And I really thought that Logan was actually going to continue that lack of politics, that lack of subtext. And then I thought about it. The ultimate blue-collar hero has to pay off nurses just to obtain medication to help his ailing father figure. He discovers a daughter he never knew he had, and just to survive, they have to flee to the north. If that's not subtext for today's America, I don't know what is. I really love that director James Mangold went with a neo-Western vibe for Logan, and that people are digging it, but I do have one little correction. It's about Canada's greatest hero on a quest from Mexico to North Dakota. That's not a Western, that's a Northern. Let's forget the dad joke and move on, shall we? James Mangold, an already established director, has proven once again that he can take a boxed-in genre like comic book films, add a secondary genre, and not even miss a beat. Mangold proved with the highly underrated The Wolverine that he took inspiration from old Kurosawa or Yasujiro Ozu films because clearly the samurai influence was in The Wolverine. You know, Ozu, director of The Floating Weeds. Okay, that one might have gone over your head. But talking about Kurosawa or Ozu's influence is really just to show that he could take a comic book film and make it a samurai film. Let's focus on the Western influence, because remember, Mangold is the man who directed the remake of 3:10 to Yuma, a very solid neo-Western, a remake of a classic. And the fact is, when he made The Wolverine, he said he wanted to make it a mutant version of the outlaw Josie Wales. Mangold continues that influence in Logan. However, I would argue the bigger influence comes from yet another Clint Eastwood film, that of Unforgiven. I love the referential nature of that Clint Eastwood work, especially considering it was one last ride for both he and the character he played in that Western. Easy to see how that applies to Logan as well. You never quite know if it's actually going to be the last time you see an actor play a character. Robert Downey Jr. has said no to Iron Man about 3 times in a row now, but Disney keeps driving a bus full of money into his driveway. But for now, it does appear as if Hugh Jackman is finished with the role and we are saying goodbye to an icon. There's only ever been one Wolverine, and Jackman has taken an already popular character and launched him into the stratosphere. And in all the X-Men and Wolverine-related films, even the bad ones, Jackman always brings something new to the character. Hey, over 9 films, you better evolve slightly. And he does it once again in Logan. Now, we do get to see the angry, feral shit-kicker, sure, but we also get a softer, more contemplative side. Not a lot softer, granted, but softer nonetheless. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Logan is actually contemplating his own mortality for the first time. Now, some may argue that he already had a taste of that in The Wolverine, but didn't we all know by the end of the film that wasn't gonna last, that he'd probably get better? And that meant for the first time, this is scary. He's not indestructible. He's not immortal. My God, we might lose him in this movie. And that meant, for the first time in a Wolverine movie, that the stakes are really raised. That is also mirrored by the great Sir Patrick Stewart playing Professor Xavier for the last time. His story as well is sad, it's scary, and of course, being a fan, we don't want to lose him either. Not to mention, just like the timeless connection between Jackman and Wolverine, Stewart will always be Xavier. Sorry, McAvoy, but I don't think I'm alone on that one. And what I love about both of these characters and both of these performances is they both carry such pain, and yet they struggle on to do what's right and make this world a better place. Even though Wolverine is at times hesitant, Stewart was always the perfect choice for this role, and no, I'm not making a bald joke, but it's simply because you can believe him both as a father figure and as a leader of superheroes, both obviously very important components to Xavier's character. But in this latest last outing, Stewart gives such a powerful performance as a broken Xavier, you actually forget he's not a real person. He's playing a comic book telepath. Now here's how serious I am about his performance. Not only is he Logan's for the win, but because of Deadpool's recognition around award season, I'm thinking that next year, Stewart actually stands a shot at earning a Best Supporting Actor nomination. However, performances by all heroes were great. Stephen Merchant as Caliban actually really surprised me with his acting chops, having only seen him in comedic roles in the past, but the biggest surprise had to be the young actress who plays X-23, Daphne Keane. Not an easy task playing X-23, she is also a fan favorite. and for most of the film, Keen had to be mute. It is a very dark, serious, and physical role for a young actress, and yet I never once felt that she was a child actress. Maybe that little one could have taught the villains a couple things. I can't place all the blame on Boyd Holbrook or Richard E. Grant for their supposed supervillain roles because these characters were really pushed aside. But the fact of the matter is, once again, here's a comic book film that suffers from generic supervillain syndrome. I mean, it's the final Jackman Wolverine film. Go out with a bang, antagonistically speaking. And not bringing back Liev Schreiber as Old Sabretooth is the very definition of missed opportunity. But Logan does not miss any other real opportunities. It is a carefully constructed, character-driven piece with a tone you typically wouldn't expect from a comic book-inspired film. It is a loving tribute to an iconic character and the actor who brought him to life. And of course, it is Enter It. Poll question, what comic book film were you surprised by? As always, leave your answers in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School and ding that notification bell besides subscribe so that you are aware of all of Real School's new content. You can also follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link and you can become part of my Patreon team. But until next time, school's out.